Alright guys, girls and whatnot, I am back again. As I said in my previous video, I don't know which one's going to be uploaded first. I'm doing two today, mainly because my phone is going into repair and there might be a backup, or I might choose to upload them at the same time. The previous one I was talking about was more of a speculation or just an idea to do with Halo Wars. This is taking a different approach to a video. This is a lot similar to my small open worlds, where it's looking at games as a whole, and not only that, but in this one it's also looking at what the future of gaming could be. And to put it simple, we are kind of looking at what defines freedom in video games, and also like what's going to happen, what elements would be in a game that has the most amount of freedom. First of all, I'm going to kind of define what I think the game industry talks about when I'm going to look at how the game industry defines freedom. And basically, from what I've heard, when you hear people throw out the term freedom, it's often describing either two things really: exploration and also just being creative, having all these creative multiple approaches like on stuff. Often being creative. I mean, like, for example, for people will call Fallout 4, Fallout 3, it has a lot of freedom. That's all to talk about the exploration and traveling. In Just Cause 3 and Crackdown, when they say freedom, they often talk about how you can creatively do all these different approaches with all the gadgets that they aid you, often being quite quirky and having these unique impacts. But both of them are still have confinements, if that's the right word. Like, you're confined in Fallout to travel around the world, but there's borders on the sides. And in Just Cause, you're still confined to X amount of weapons or stuff. So I mean, I think freedom is kind of usually it's just not I don't think it's appropriately used at times. I mean, I think freedom is a lot more than just exploration. And just different types of weapons. I think it's a lot to do with your interactions and actions with other people in the game, or just the world. And also another element of freedom is to cover more game styles rather than just being confined to a shooter, or, well, as I said in the previous ones, but you can also say Skyrim confined to sword fighting and magic and I can't remember, archery. But in short, these games do have a really, really decent level of freedom, but I think we haven't reached the peak of freedom. I mean, this is going to look at really odd because I'm picking a game that has a lot less freedom as an example, but it's also one of my favorite games, and that's Deus Ex Human Revolution. You can see that there is a variety of interactions with NPCs. You can kill and knock out enemies, you can kill and knock out civilians, you can talk to civilians, you can even manipulate civilians to some extent, but that still comes with confinements. When it comes to interaction or the level, you have the ability to go guns blazing, complete stealth, or a hybrid. Now, if I were to look at Deus Ex and I would add more freedom towards it, I would say one example of that would be the interaction with enemies. You know, you can do you can do exactly what you were doing in the past. Add some more weapons, like bucket load of weapons, and add stuff like you can approach it in turn-based combat. I know it sounds crazy, but you know, that's a step to freedom, is being able to choose how you approach it with as many possibilities and even more out there could be brainwashing them, or kissing them, which wouldn't be pointless, but at least it's expanding the kind of possibilities. So yeah, I think that's a huge part of freedom, is having a vast selection of approaches, interactions, and just how you deal with the environment. Although I haven't really shown much to do with some of those areas. A better example of freedom to some extent is Minecraft. You know, you've got a variety of stuff you can do. You can hunt animals, play with electronics, or do sorcery. And with this game, it is constantly updating the freedom. It's adding more and more mechanics. You know, but to be fair, if you're going to think Minecraft is going to be that game that nails freedom, it still has its confinements. Its target audience is still a huge chunk of their target audience is really young kids. I mean, a lot of young kids play these games, just judging by what parents have told me, or other people like their sisters. And with that target audience, they're limited to what they can do. You won't be able to go on a killing rampage in a village with an Uzi, or shoot up heroin in the forest. That's not going to happen. It could happen with mods, but that's not what I mean to say. Is unmodded Minecraft would not ever do that. So to some extent, maybe modding could actually would help a game increase in freedom, but it's just all meant to be innocent. And another element is that whilst you have these biomes and stuff, and you can change the difficulty on the game so monsters don't appear, there still isn't an option in the normal version to avoid monsters completely. So what would be interesting if the odd biome didn't have any monsters in it when you travel to that biome, and therefore you have the freedom to choose to live in a safe area or a violent area, rather than just having a difficulty setting. And another element of Minecraft is that another thing to do with Minecraft, talking about the alpha days, which I think I joined during the beta, tomato, but if you look at that game, it still had, at its early days, it had two core mechanics. It was building and fighting animals, and mining. Not animals, monsters. And you could kill animals too, but they weren't so crucial back then. Actually, they were to heal yourself. But basically, what I was also thinking when it comes to freedom is that a game that's going to pursue freedom should really, from the start, have as many core gameplay elements possible, if not just no core gameplay, just a huge variety of stuff to do, only because that causes the game to have a head start. That causes elements of the game to have a head start over others and tend to be more focused. So that mining is kind of so crucial in Minecraft. It's been from the start, but to actually play Minecraft in survival mode, you have to mine, and that's just because the core gameplay from the start has been like that. And what I'm trying to get at is a game with pure freedom should have should allow you to approach the game, because it has so many odd core mechanics. It should allow you to approach the game completely different to everyone else, rather than following this kind of routine and then maybe unlocking more stuff like Minecraft. Like, you're not going to straight away build a sorcery table. I haven't played it up the sorcery stuff, but from my understanding that comes later on. And yeah, so this is a topic that I'm not sure if I'm actually saying anything that's kind of valid, but I'm saying it anyway. And the final thing is, will we see a game that is complete freedom? And I honestly think it will be unlikely, because it seems so challenging just to have everything in a game. But in saying that, with competition, the bar will be raised higher and higher. So people are going to put more time and effort into games. And to some extent, I wonder if the game that has the most amount of freedom will have kind of no financial incentive. So it might be an indie game. Well, there is always an incentive for financial, but not such a priority. Just because I can imagine something like Ubisoft, they'd be like, you've got a deadline. This is how much. This is your budget. You can't use it up. Whilst an indie game, they can choose how long they want to make the game, and they have they don't. Well, everyone has a finite budget, but it's it's not like a problem with. They're not given a set budget. They can choose to keep investing and keep making the game. And I'm just going to finish on that. And I will probably upload a video next week, and I'll see you later. Enjoy.